Morning or afternoon, everyone, evening, whatever it is right now. I'd like to call the Wednesday, January 17th, 2024 Library Board meeting to order. First, I want to welcome Matt Horner, that's with us tonight, and also Tom Ewing, who couldn't be with us tonight. Hopefully he'll be with us at the next meeting. I did want to do some introductions real quick, so that way you can, get to know all of us. So I'll go first, and then we can kind of go around. So I'm Nicole Barker. I'm the president of the library board. I've been on the board since July. Yes, July. So still kind of new myself. So, but we all work together really well, and I think you'll like it. Welcome.
I'm Jackie Rammer. I'm a library director. I've been here 4 years this year.
Ellen Moore, business manager. I've been here since 2012.
Dave Williams, Superintendent Schools, good leadership in Minnesota.
Thank you. I'm Matthew. I am happy to be here, involved in the community. I'm the member of the library here, and I think I can make a difference in the community. This is the place to do it. So I'm a big reader, so it's good to be here. Good.
My name is Carole McGibany. I've been on the board. This is my 5th year. Yeah, it's a good experience, good way to give back to the community. Sounds like that's what you're interested in too, so welcome.
And Lessila, I'm the village trustee representative, so welcome to the team.
Hi, I'm Schotthauer. I've been on the board for 2.5 years. And what's his name? Welcome. Sorry, it's been a long day.
All right, so next we're going to move into public comment period. The Library Board of Trustees will hold a public comment period for the purpose of allowing the non-appointed public the opportunity to address the board regarding any matter that involves the library or matters over which the Library Board of Trustees has authority to take. The public comment session shall last no longer than 15 minutes, and individual presentations are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. These time limits may be extended at the discretion of the board president. Library board members shall not respond to or debate matters raised during public comments. Public comment should be addressed to the library board as a body. Any questions or comments posed to an individual member of the library board will be deemed out of order by the board president. Presentations shall not deal in personalities or personal attacks on members of the board, the applicant for any project, library employees, or residents of the village of Menomonee Falls. No campaigning for political office is allowed during the comment period. Comments, questions, and concerns shall be presented in a respectful and professional manner. Any individual violating these expectations will be deemed out of order by the board president. Would anybody like to make a comment? All right. We'll go into the consent agenda. Items listed.
Last month you did the vote separate. For the consent agenda,
We just do it together. Okay. All right, so items listed under consent agenda will be approved in one motion unless any board member requests that an item be removed for individual discussion. That item can be considered at an appropriate time during the board's regular order of business or under new business. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the last regular meeting from December 20th, 2023, and the bill approval for November 2023 in the amount of $52,848.53.
Motion to approve consent agenda items.
A second?
Any comment, questions, discussion?
Were the computers on this one?
Yeah, those are for the staff computers.
That's the staff.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you answered my question about the 15,000 surplus. So that's great. I think that was a good question there.
Anyone else have any questions? Ready? All those in favor to approve the minutes for the last regular board meeting from December 20th, 2023, and the bill approval for November 2023 and the amount of $52,848.53, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Now for new business, items for discussion, action, or possible approval. We're discussing the consideration for approval of President Barker's appointment of Carole McGibany as chair of the live streaming committee. Can I get a motion to approve Carole McGibany as chair of the live streaming committee?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Carole, I'm assuming you agreed?
I agree. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. All those in favor of appointing Carole McGibany as chair of live streaming committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Consider for approval President Barker's appointment of President Barker as chair of policy review committee. Can I get a motion to appoint President Barker as the chair of the policy review committee?
I make a motion. Several.
Second.
Any discussion? No? All right.
I'm assuming you want to do it.
Well, there was really like nobody else that wanted to, so it kind of was up to me. All those in favor of appointing President Barker as chair of the policy review committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Now on to the standing committee reports. First, the policy review committee, which is me, and we haven't met again since we met with Colleen. So I'm hoping that we can get that going probably later this month or early next month, so that way we have it ready for the March regular meeting. And the special events, fundraising, and outreach committee.
The Special Events Fundraising and Outreach Committee met earlier this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And we discussed kind of finalizing the purpose and duties of the committee. And so I printed, if you want to just take one and pass it. Well, okay, probably normal. So the document that you're getting just outlines the duties and purpose of our committee, which really is to evaluate the need for any larger fundraising events, and then assist with the design and promotion of those larger fundraising events. And then the duties as outlined are working with the director and staff members to promote the library and events, evaluate the need for fundraising events for the large projects. As we're all aware, the example provided is the children's area remodel. And then, as I mentioned, design the fundraising efforts for large projects and coordinate any board involvement in community outreach opportunities. And like the other committees, the special events fundraising and outreach committee will need to come to the full board for approval for any decision. So then the other thing we did is just start to review the budget available for the children's area remodel. Jackie put together a really nice document for us to start to do that. And she also has started to get quotes from different places on flooring, tiles, and everything that is part of that budget. So we will continue as she updates that document with the quote information. The committee will be able to more further, provide some advisory detail to the full board. But for right now, we're just trying to populate that with the quotes. Jackie, did I miss anything? I think you got it all.
No, it's really good. Jackie's doing a really good job reaching out to local companies, trying to see if we can maybe even get them to help us out a little bit so we can make it a really, really special area. And so some good ideas in that meeting.
When is the next meeting?
Oh, thank you.
We are going to decide that in the event that any new members get appointed to our committee.
We're hoping
So
might be a marketing specialist.
everybody just start looking up, but sometimes we've got to work. There really is probably not a need to meet until we get the quotes back from all of them.
Have you guys thought about like working with just like a general contractor that maybe able to get like some discounts if we do it all with a contractor?
We were thinking about going that route, and I discussed that with Arlen, but the cost of the working with a general contractor versus kind of doing it ourselves was kind of prohibitive. And with the relatively small scale of the project, it's really only working with probably coordinating with 3 or maybe 4 companies. So I guess we felt as a staff that we could kind of handle it without it getting, needing that extra bump, but so we could.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Next is the coffee shop committee.
That's me. I have nothing new to report. All I know is that the agreement is in the hands of the village manager, Mark Fitzgerald, and the village attorney at this time. It sounds like everything was just super easy, and I guess I don't want to speak about the details because they're still working that out. So hopefully that will be done. I emailed them today. They said it's finished on the village's side. They just need to get it back over to Latitudes, and so hopefully soon.
Just to add to that, so you can't, I was indulged with it. This is an addition to what I handed out last month. The proposed coffee shop suggestion box is doing its job and people are responding. So you'll see all of those responses in this document. I will respond, and as we discussed before, about that generic response to anyone who gave me their email address. So I will do that probably tomorrow. And I did hand this off to Daniel and his wife this afternoon, and had a nice visit with them. So that was good for me. So that's just my addition.
So now when the agreement is finalized as far as like the between the village and Latitudes, is that going to come back to the coffee shop committee or the full board? It'll come to the board. Okay.
Yep, so both the village board and the library board has to approve it. Yeah, no, that's good to know. Yep.
And at that time, and there'll be that presentation. We'll answer all the questions that you have for me. Right?
Yes.
Very good.
Next is the live streaming committee.
Well, as the new committee member in that, I can say that we did meet on January 11th, and what we wanted to do was do a practice with the OWL and to see if we were able as a library board to just do it on our own, to do the live streaming on our own. We talked about the pros and cons of that and decided that we should explore all options. And so what we decided to do is reach out to Falls Cable Access, who had originally expressed interest in being part of this project. And we invited them to come, or we invited Chris Forston to come as director of Falls Cable Access. So our next meeting is February 5th at 5 o'clock. And I did extend the invitation to Chris, is it McDowell? Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chris McDowell, Village IT. I had a good conversation with him about this previously. He said as long as his calendar is free, he is interested in coming to our meeting as well. So we should have a good conversation on February 5th.
I have a question that might have already come up and might be a moot point, but
In the past, we've had people participate via Zoom or, yeah, I think it's always through Zoom, right, to a meeting. In the event that this gets, I don't know if this is a question to ask now or later, but how does that interface with the live streaming if we were to keep that up, or would that option go away?
That's a good question and something that I'll just bring up after. Thank you very much. That's good.
Like I said, that might be too far afield, but
I think now's the time to start building all of those questions, so anything that anybody can think of, shoot them out now, so I appreciate that, thanks.
That's a good option too, because that's free. So
For 45 minutes.
in case, yeah, there is a cost to the live streaming, you can always do that. It's a zero cost.
Wow, that's not true.
No.
The Zoom process.
Oh, so you don't have anything like that already?
We,
The library?
we have Zoom, we purchased Zoom,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna cost us any additional.
Yeah, that's what I,
Okay.
so I thought you already had that.
Unless we have more than 100 people in the Zoom, but we can just limit it to 4 members.
Can you record on Zoom and post it then? Okay.
The only thing is I'm gonna have to say too.
right, so that gets, so I wasn't suggest, I mean, maybe that's maybe an option to explore, but I was mostly asking for because I want to zoom in on a future meeting. If that were to happen, how does that?
How does that Zoom?
Right, so
get
like-
included in what we're already doing?
Correct.
Understood.
All right, any more questions or discussion about it? Next is the trustee education, chapter 18, library board appointments and composition.
All right, so this chapter talks a little bit about how library board appointments come to be and how they're composed. It talks a lot about the importance of having a diversity of viewpoints and expertise on the library board. An example that's given is that the school district administrator brings a lot of expertise with their background in education. And then amongst the other board members, really looking at what those people's expertise is and how we can all kind of work together to benefit the library board is something that's taken into consideration. Talks about the statutory requirements of the library board, the makeup of municipal library boards, which I think all of you are aware of, and talking about having a school district administrator, having a trustee from the village board on the library board, and then what happens when there is a vacancy. It talks a little bit about joint library boards and county library boards, neither of which apply to our library. Federated public library systems does not apply to our library, so it's a pretty brief chapter. Are there any questions from that chapter? Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't have a question, but just a clarification, because we are exempt from we're not exempt. Our terms are not January 1st, as it says in here.
Correct.
So we just, for everyone's awareness, it's July 1st, correct?
June. June is the expiration of the appointment.
Yes, yes, okay. Just,
July 1st is the terms for the president and secretary treasurer position.
Okay.
That's where I got that from.
so that is a little bit of a change, from, or not a change, but a discrepancy from what's current. On page 18.
I think that these go based on more like what the normal like flow is for all the other boards, but it is like village or town specific. For us, that's why we do it differently.
Yep.
That's all I have.
So I guess I've heard a little bit of commotion about how people are appointed to the board and when there is a vacancy. So I know I personally made 2 announcements at 2 different meetings that there was vacancies, and I asked for people to apply. But there's still people that have to make comments that they weren't told about it. I guess to maybe provide some clarification on exactly how all of us get appointed to this board. And especially like when there is a vacancy. So like when Colleen resigned, I think it was like the next day that I had emailed Jeremy Walsh, which is the village president, and let him know of the vacancy. And then from there, he finds somebody to appoint. So in this case, we actually had 2 because we had reached out when Jessica resigns. And so then I asked him to please fill both spots, which did take not too long after Colleen left, but I think that with just the one, they were waiting. They wanted to wait, but with both, they figured they might as well just make them at the same time. But I don't know, maybe that provides some sort of clarification for people that were wondering. I mean, it's not anything unlike, the President of the United States who appoints his secretaries, like.
It is the process. It's the state statute.
It's in the Constitution.
President Walz appoints them, the trustees vote, and that's how it's done. There's nothing secretive or shady about it.
So it's kind of like that was the topic, actually.
It was truly a coincidence.
All right. Did anyone else have any questions or comments on library equipment?
I guess this is not a question, but I think that it would probably just benefit when there is a board position if there is like a more public announcement. And I don't know if that comes from Jeremy or where that comes from, but sometimes I do think that it may follow some process, but I think if there's the appearance that it's not following the process, then that doesn't behoove any of us. So if there can be like more public announcement, or like this is when we're going to appoint the new people, or because my term expires as well coming up. So I think this is going to be like a continual thing. So if there is a way to get the process out when there's not like a vacancy, so people are aware like what that process is, it might be.
We invite you to get more applicants that way as well.
Yeah, I guess I would suggest the library puts it out then, I don't know, because it's not required.
Okay.
It's not necessary to do it. If that's what we want to do here, we can. It says right in the statute that Jeremy can reach out to people, anyone can reach out to people and recruit them. That's.
No, I'm not suggesting that anything of
Yeah.
Gwen Flory, but I think that like, because this seems to be a continual point of contention, like why not just be upfront about this is what the process is in a time when it's like, okay, we don't have any openings right now, but for future awareness, this is where you can find them. If you want your, I don't know, I don't want this to be continually like,
And I think maybe some of the confusion is in when there have been vacancies in the past, we have received direction from either the village board or village staff to post, hey, we have an opening, everybody apply. So I think, and sometimes we haven't, sometimes we have. It just really depends on whether or not the village president is like, hey, I need a bunch of applications. Can you please put the call out? And then the library has advertised that. So maybe that's part of the issue, was that people were expecting that because they've seen it in the past. It could be, I'm not sure, regardless.
So I guess I'm confused. So we know there's vacancies. So why would it then come from the village? I don't understand.
So-
Why wouldn't the library just, can't you? I mean, is there something against it, just posting it, like, hey, we got two
Because
openings?
it's the village president's appointment, we've always waited for the village president to say, hey, I'd like you to please put out applications so that I can appoint people. We did that with the previous village president, so that's always sort of been the impetus for us putting out the ad. Because I was always told that it wasn't like the library's responsibility or the library board's responsibility to find applicants. It was really the village president. So that's something we've always done to assist them with getting applications. And sometimes we haven't been asked, sometimes we have. So it's just, I can definitely talk to President Walls and just see and like make sure he's aware that if there's ever a time he's seeking applicants, let us know. We're happy to get the word out to anybody and everybody.
Okay.
I'll have a discussion with you.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just like not being aware of what the process is, which, I mean, I don't know if it's published anywhere other than the statute that does say the president has the authority to do it.
Well, there's an application on the village website.
Right. But we could maybe put it on the bottom of our board page, just as a statement, if you're interested in serving on the library board, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because our
As a
appointments are on there as well, right? Like the expiration
Correct.
dates.
And anyone's welcome to apply at any time. Like, and it just goes on file. So we'll work on our end to make that a little more clear. And then I'll also talk to President Walls about it, just to make sure he knows the resources available to him for us getting the word out.
And then who maintains the file? The village maintains the file. That's
Correct.
very good.
I think it goes to the clerk.
That makes sense.
I do have a file on all of the appointments as well, but it's just whatever's posted on the village website, so.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it clear.
So I just wanted to make sure that there was some sort of clarification there as far as, so people aren't confused as to how it goes. All right, so next is my reports. I basically just wanted to say welcome to Matthew and Thomas, who couldn't be with us tonight, but we'll hopefully see him next meeting. If you are interested in doing one of the committees, just let me know which one you're interested in. The special events.
Yeah, no,
definitely. So just let me know and I'll.
And you can't be on more than one.
Yeah, if you're interested in all of them, I mean, if you have the time, that's the question. Otherwise, that's it. Next is the director's report.
All right, the year-end report, which is always the most fun, in my opinion. So starting with some year-end statistics. So we're looking at our traditional circulation. We've definitely seen an increase in our print circulation over the past 3 years, looking at quite a significant jump from 2022 to 2023. That's great news. It's really wonderful too that we're seeing that same growth with the digital circulation, and by a landslide, particularly with Hoopla, which continues to grow in popularity, but also seeing Libby continue to grow with their addition of e-magazines. We've seen a lot more checkouts, and you can read 10 magazines really fast, so those circulations add up. Looking at the computer numbers, we definitely are not seeing as much growth since 2019. We're seeing quite a decrease in computer usage since 2019. That is a trend nationwide. The Urban Libraries Council came out with a study and they talked about meeting room use, computer use, visitors in the library, and basically our trends tend to line up with the national trends for libraries. So that's reassuring to see that we're kind of on trend. Printing has increased, mobile print sessions have gone up. Faxing.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to forget.
We are just, the Menomonee Falls community loves faxing, so that's wonderful.
That's just amazing.
I know.
We're
Wi-Fi,
talking about like
It is
very
very hard.
traditional fax machine, right? We're not talking about like scan.
no, it's a self-contained unit it's credit card or debit card, you just type in your number and boom. So, yeah.
It's like going up in here. So
Yeah, it is.
And it's gonna get worse with income tax time.
Sure.
There's gonna be a lot of it there too, so.
And we do get a minor compensation for that, right? It's a couple dollars a year. not much,
Yeah.
but- So we like to see it.
Right. Card registrations grew this year, so that's really, really great, along with visitors. Reference questions continue to grow. So we are seeing more people ask more detailed questions, asking for more complex help. So when it comes to computer assistance or some reference questions which can last 10, 20 minutes, we are seeing a bump in those. So even though, visitor usage isn't necessarily skyrocketing out of this world, we're still seeing the people who are coming in the building really taking advantage of the services that we have to offer, particularly the staff help. Programs grew quite a bit, so we continue to just expand. The team is doing a great job. They're constantly doing a program. I feel like there's always something going on here. Sometimes we have multiple programs going on at once. So that's really been wonderful to see. And many, many program participants as well.
Last Wednesday, we had 4 programs, all at the same time.
I have a typo. I just noticed it. For interlibrary loan outside of our library, it says 11,000. No, it was actually 1,140. So sorry about that. And then you can see that we lend out a lot more materials outside of the Bridges Library System, so statewide, more than we receive. And that's a great sign of having a robust catalog. So that means that when people are looking for a book, a movie, a music CD, they're able to find it within the Bridges Library System catalog versus having to go outside of the system and find it. And it's also a good sign that we're able to lend so many of our materials outside of Bridges Library System throughout the state and sometimes in other states as well.
That also still counts for those Waukesha standards, right? So being a net lender is beneficial for us in those correct.
Yes, it counts for lending.
It counts for lending, but it counts for lending outside of our library, but it's sort of in a different manner because it's not like a circulation to someone in Lannon or Lisbon, right? We wouldn't have that sort of non-library circulation, but it does count as we're a net lender versus a borrower, which is always good.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. 2023 was amazing. We had a significant amount, as I said, of new library card holders, visitors. In 2019, December of 2019, we created 116 new library cards. In December of 2023, we made 166. So people are continuing to use the library to sign up for a library card to see the resources that we have available. If you look at, I put some information in there about 2019's digital circulation versus 2023's. So it just continues to grow. That's going to be something that we are going to continually look at putting in additional funding for. We're at the point now where we recognize that reading an ebook, reading an e-audiobook is the same thing as checking out a physical book in terms of it's a circulation, it's a checkout. So looking at these numbers and really seeing, wow, look at how much our circulation has gone up is pretty significant. One special program that the staff did in December was we all worked together to donate some gifts and create a Christmas experience for a local Menomonee Falls family with 3 children. So together the staff were able to donate over $500 worth of gifts and gift cards to this deserving family. Our librarian, Joe, organized the drive and played Santa, delivered the gifts to their home. And then in addition to that, we also hosted a donation bin for Christmas Clearing Council in the lobby, and that was very successful. They had to come and empty it out many times. So that was just a little something special we did around the holidays for a local family.
Thanks. That's really awesome.
We are all full steam ahead with the Children's Library refresh. So as Amy talked about, we've been planning the Children's Library refresh. I've been getting quotes from contractors on flooring and paint and all that fun stuff. We are looking at probably the end of the year, November or December, for the actual work to be done, because it's a quiet time for us, so it's not in the middle of summer reading program, but also it's very ideal for the various contractors, and they're willing to offer discounts for winter. So it's a win-win. So it's not going to happen like tomorrow. We're not getting new carpet tomorrow, but it's coming up fast. We have a new book club at the library, so we already have a pretty big lineup of book clubs, but our adult services manager, Kipley, started the Saturday Murder Club, and it filled up so quickly, so there's already a huge waiting list, so she might have to do like a Friday Murder Club and a Thursday Murder Club as well. So they read various whodunits and then enjoy treats from the library friends. There have been an influx of new programs in the makerspace, and there's a cookie decorating program for Valentine's Day, and we had 2 local patrons, Rachel and Dan Buss. They donated money to sponsor the sessions, and we've been really grateful, if you look at our event calendar, to have so many business and personal sponsorships of the makerspace programs in order to make that happen. So this is just one example of the very generous people in our community to make these programs free and available for our patrons. Breaking news, there is a stuffed animal sleepover on January 30th. So kids can wear their pajamas, bring their favorite stuffed animal, and then after they say goodnight to the stuffed animal, there's going to be some shenanigans at the library. And so you can check out our Facebook page to see what they got up to after the library closed.
That is
Just to be clear, the children are going home. The stuffed animals are not. The Winter Reading Challenge continues. So we've seen some really great numbers with this, and it goes through February 18th. And it's open to all ages. Track your reading and win some awesome prizes. Just looking at the year in review, and we talked about a lot of these statistics as well, but there's some pretty awesome numbers there. We had 76,476 holds placed on items. We have, as of December 31st, 2023, we had 16,058 active borrowers, so people who had a Menomonee Falls Public Library card. And we, as I said, made over 2,470 new cards this year. We added over 12,000 items to our collection. We had 82 registrations for the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program and 16 completions. Those of you who frequent the children's library probably are familiar with the scavenger hunt that we have. So we have hidden pictures around the library. And children, we switch it out regularly, and children can go and find all of the hidden pictures for our prize. It helps them get familiar with the library, check out new areas, learn about where things are, and we had over 2,943 completions of that scavenger hunt. Another program that we do in order to help teens feel more comfortable at the library and have positive interactions with staff is we have teen desk trivia. So teens can come up to the second floor desk and answer trivia questions correctly to get a piece of candy. It's just a great way to have positive interactions. We had over 1,167 teen desk trivia sessions.
And we give kids if they get it wrong, so it's candy.
Yeah. So yeah, overall it was a really, really successful year. Over 24,000 reference questions answered. And those are just the ones we remember to tally. So it's been really good. Any questions on those stats? All right. And then of course I had to let you all know what the most popular books of 2023 were. So these were the top 10 most popular books checked out at the library. So they were the ones checked out the most. Colleen Hoover was on there 3 times, so that's amazing. I don't know if we've ever had one author on there more than once other than James Patterson, so, and he's not even on there. Wow, wow. And then I did also include the top, the most checked out books by collection. So you can see Lessons in Chemistry was checked out 340 times. Interesting, some fun things that I found was that Rick Steves' Italy was the 3rd most popular nonfiction book. So I guess a lot of people in Menomonee Falls are planning a trip to Italy. So that's pretty exciting.
I make it out because I do that section.
Yeah. And then Dogman absolutely blew the children's book collection away. I think most of these are either Dogman, Cat Kid, or Elephant and Piggy. So if you haven't read Dogman, check it out. And then I also included the top 10 library of things items that were checked out. We recently added Tony boxes. So it's a small box that plays a story. There's little figurines that you can check out, and you put the figurine on top, so it can be like a book character. And you put the figurine on top, and it plays stories and songs that are like built into that figurine. And so you can check out a bunch of different little figurines, and then just listen to this story. So it's a screen-free activity for children, but they're still reading story or hearing stories and listening to songs. And yeah, we added those at the end of the year, and we already had 224 checkouts.
What is the age group for that? Anybody, or was it
I think it's
one?
I think it's kind of all over the place. There's definitely stories for slightly older kids, younger kids. They're really, it's just fun for anybody.
Thank you.
And then Wi-Fi hotspots were also a very popular checkout as well. And the DVD CD player, so that's the travel DVD CD player that we circulate. Any questions on that? You'll get a bunch more statistics regarding 2023 when we have the annual report next month. So in February, you'll be going through and approving the annual report that we give to the state. It goes through a lot of statistics, a lot of the things that we've already covered, and it's just something that we do every year. And that's why the February meeting is 1 week late, because we're usually working on that right up to the minute. So we appreciate your flexibility. And that's all I have.
Didn't know if you wanted to announce it. All right, Tom Hoffman, Director of Engineering and Development, presented the 2024 capital budget. And there is a lot of work put into that. It's almost a little overwhelming. But we get a packet like this, detailing, what their projects are going to be: bridges, sidewalks, gutters. So it's quite impressive. And with the storm water utility that was passed, we're going to be able to truly fix some roads that have needed to be fixed for a very long time in Menomonee Falls. Because the village board, it was approved unanimously. And that 2024 will eventually be on the village website if anyone's interested. You can go to the engineering tab and go to projects. So if you're ever curious what's going on in the village, it's pretty amazing as you go on that website. I keep realizing more and more things that I can check out on there. And then the other big thing was that Vice President Walls, we already talked about this, appointed the 2 new members to our library board, Matthew and Thomas. And they were voted in unanimously as well. That's pretty much it.
Next is the Menomonee School District report.
Yes, thank you. We kind of jumped into strategic planning with surveys. Surveys are out in the community, quite a few to a lot of different of our partners. There's going to be focus groups at the end of the month with that same strategic planning group through our strategic planning partner. We're doing those focus groups toward the end of the month. Then a steering committee, which is now formed, will be working over the next 3 months to kind of construct a plan from all of that feedback. So it's a lot of work in order to get this kind of to the point where it is right now. Then a lot of feedback and two-way communication about setting up the next 5-year strategic plan. The current strategic plan really doesn't exist. So it was one of the main goals to kind of come in and establish that. One other big thing, I know we're dealing with here at the library as well, quite a bit of snow. I had school closures, unfortunately, but also some challenges over the weekend with power outage, and a lot of people were doing power outages. We had a little bit of that in one of the buildings, but we were able to get things handled well before school started. It did help having Monday already as a scheduled day off, so that we had some extra time to move some big piles of snow, which we're able to do. So if you want to see that, just go over to the high school parking lot, next to the football field, and you can see how much snow we really got. So that's not just the school district, but the school district in some cities will have village as well. So just up in the front of the high school lot. So very big thing. It's probably, I've lived in Wisconsin just about my whole life, and that's one of the bigger storms that I've seen in 20 years-ish. I always remember the 70s nostalgically. I always believed the snowstorms in the 70s were much larger, but that's just me being a little older. Some curriculum work in the district. There's quite a bit of curriculum work in the district. English language, the ELA English curriculum, actually K-12 is being revamped and be new for next year. The elementary school staff, along with our curriculum experts, have selected a couple of pilots where this is some important work. So in the elementary level specifically, English curriculum, English language arts curriculum, it's a good portion of the day for those staff. So that's a major lift. They're actually going through a pilot. We've selected 2 pilots with the staff's input. We select 2 pilots that they'll be piloting the rest of the year. So they'll select some, and then we'll be rolling with the new curriculum into next year. There is a social studies 612 curriculum adoption and pilot that we're working on as well. So there's quite a bit of curriculum work going on in a lot of different places throughout the district. We're a little bit behind due to COVID, but trying to get caught up with that important work. It's end of semester. You just know that because I was at the high school today and they were taking final exams. So it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh yeah, it's been a few years since I read a building. So it's kind of midpoint of the school year. You're taking final exams and transitioning to the second part of the school year. So what that means specifically for, it's big news for 5th graders in particular, but then also 8th graders because they're going to be selecting classes in their new building. So 5th grade for middle school, their forced middle school experience, they'll start going through class selections in the next month. And then 8th graders will be starting to select their first high school courses. And those are big transitions. When you make those transitions and start selecting those courses, it might seem early, but really that happens now. Between now and spring break, the selections and getting all of those sort of schedules arranged for the 24-25 school year, that runs really heavy, really hard right now. So staffing plan, and that sort of work. So that's the connectedness there. Security camera upgrades at the high school have been completed. It's a project we've been working on, about a $250,000 project to update not just security cameras, but also the hardware to make sure that we have it in the appropriate places, but also there's a speed and connectedness to law enforcement, but also our staff. So it just increases the level of safety in that building. We're rolling that to the middle school as well, just because it's a little bit more difficult there because of the building itself. It's a little bit older. But those upgrades are going into the middle school as well. New placements, new locations, and hardware. We should have that section of that work done by the end of spring break, if all goes well. So, and then we'll be looking at the elementary schools as well, and that in the summer. That's what I have. Oh, we do have a big mock safety drill, just on safety, that we've been working on and planning for several months now. That the district will be running with the police, freighters, the fire department, and several other agencies. So a mock drill, so we're not involving the students. We will involve 30, 40 staff that are on safety teams in order to drill our current plans, likely in early June of 2024, in order to improve those plans, just in case. So it's always important to do those drills in this day and age. That's all.
Next is the Burns of the Library report.
So we had our meeting yesterday, we were canceled because of the snow the week before, so I think the two big, kind of fun thing is they are looking for their give back events, and Chipotle is one on the docket for March, so we're all gonna have to mark our calendars for that. Chipotle is a very good supporter. You get like 33% of the proceeds for those who say, we're here for the library, so it's a great fundraiser for the Friends group. They also have a tree planting project that has continued to be in conversation. John, one of our librarians, is kind of spearheading the whole idea. There will be some trees planted in Municipal Park. I have no sense of direction. Is that out that way? Which will be kind of a family, community kind of event. It's also in partnership with Johnson Nursery, so stay tuned for more information about that. I think what was most exciting about yesterday's meeting was Jeff had presented the wish list from the library, those things that staff really would like to, their wish list, they're what they'd like to have for the library, and the Friends looked at their budget and said, yes, we can make all of those things happen. So much to the delight of Jackie, the forge is being blessed with the tables, and there's so many things. I didn't bring the list, but thanks to the Friends, a great deal of things will be purchased and benefit of the library. So that was very exciting. And that was key, I think. Am I missing anything?
I think that was it, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, nothing else. Next meeting will be Wednesday, February 28th at 2024 at 6 o'clock right here. We are adjourned.